AITA for telling my brother he's not an adventurer? I, 39 them, am a former soldier who served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan, plus heaps of other deployments around the world to pay for his education. Post-EASI. Worked for 2 years on an oil derrick in the North Sea. I've done aid work in Belize, Rwanda, Congo, and Nepal. When I was 15, I hiked all through Thailand as part of my school's hiking club. This is not a humble brag, but to provide context for the rest of the story. My brother M has done none of those things. He went straight from high school to university on a trust fund from his grandfather. We have different moms, and has worked at the same accounting firm for the past 3 years. The other day M was at my place for dinner. He had recently returned from a holiday in Vietnam. He was showing my son, 9 years old, all the pictures he had taken, and telling him all these embellished stories of seeing crocodiles while sailing down the Mekong, or eating live snakes at a night market, and other nonsense. As an aside, for the past 2 years M has done this. He'd go on some Kontiki tour overseas, be a tourist the entire time, then come home and tell my kid not just about the trip, but also add all these bullshit details to make himself seem like an adventurer. At one point he was talking about how his tour bus got stopped by a group of armed tribesmen in the jungle, and the conversation went like this. Son, while Uncle M, weren't you scared? M, a bit I suppose, but it was more exciting than anything. I suppose adventure just appeals to some of us. At that point I lost it. I didn't raise my voice, but through gritted teeth I told him how despite having done any of the things I'd done when I was younger, I never tried to pass myself off as brave or adventurous. Hell, every time I told my son of my deployments, I'd always emphasize how frightened I was and how out of depth I felt the entire time, because the last thing I want him to do is to join up when he's older thinking it's some grand adventure. I told him that we were happy to hear of his travels, but he was an idiot for embellishing it to the extent he does just to impress his nephew, and that in all of his trips. He was a tourist, not an adventurer. He said something like, well, I suppose everybody's definition of adventure is different, before changing the subject entirely. Later that night, I get a text from my dad saying that M had told him what happened and asking for my side of the story. After I told him, he told me that while he agreed M needs to quit his bullshitting, the way I went about it was still uncalled for. I reminded him that it was grandfather's stories about fighting in the Pacific in WW2 that encouraged me to enlist and wind up with TBI, hearing loss, and the back and knees of a man twice my age. I was trying to protect my son from going through the same thing. My old man just goes, yeah, well, you were still a fucking dick about it, then hung up. So, AIDA?